Okay, as you guys can see, we're almost ready to go. I am trying to keep my sanity together. I feel like over time, my ability to do long casts is greatly diminished. Let's see, we started today at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're about 5 hours in, so we're almost at the halfway point. I feel like at some point I need to wake up, though. That would be fantastic, as I've spent pretty much this entire cast still feeling groggy and tired. Feels bad, man. We're currently waiting on MaNa to join us, as you guys can see. And I'm just going to leave this screen up instead of my ugly mug. I mean, my handsome face, because I don't want you guys to fall in love with me. Calm down there, boys. I've already got a girl that I'm crushing on. I don't have time for all of you, okay? Shit. But no, for real. We'll just leave it here so you guys can see when it's about ready to go. And yeah, I'm gonna cast as much of this as I can. My goal is to go the full cast. I want to try and do all fucking 4 groups. Oh my god, just saying that makes me want to kill myself. But yeah, we'll go through as much as we can today. Tomorrow will be a lot easier because I'll be with Zombie Grub. She, of course, had some prior engagements today. She cast the first group with me for the most part, and then had to take off. And yeah, she'll be back tomorrow for that double elimination round of 16, which I'm looking forward to. This group. Excuse me. This group's going to be interesting, though, because we've got, let's see here. It's DIMAGA, it's MaNa, it's the Muslim, it's DNS. I think DNS might be the one that could surprise us the most in the group. And I'm going to say that I predict MaNa getting out with the Muslim. Although, to be honest, I don't know who takes first place. I actually think if it's... I would think it's MaNa over the Muslim. But the Muslim's actually, despite not playing in a lot of things, been looking pretty good in the things he has been playing in. Streaming a lot less than he used to, and maybe has some strategies perfected. I don't know. But I do know a lot of these guys absolutely love Home Story Cup, and they're all playing for the heck of just playing a mini Home Story Cup, essentially. Panic Switch runs off crying. I thought what we had was Specialgram. I mean... I don't know what to tell you, dude. I never believed in monogamy in the first place. You knew that getting into a relationship with me. And if you didn't, that was just naivety. Oh man, I'm just looking at cosplay from really cute girls. I'm not gonna lie, guys, it's 100% why the in-game screen's up. Because I'm like on my Twitter creeping on cuties right now. MaNa. MaNa, please. I was talking to MaNa earlier, actually, about like if he's got plans for, you know, winter season BlizzCon, and him, like many of the other players, are actually really, I want to say, not excited is the right word, but like anticipating the post BlizzCon patch where they're going to change a lot of shit up about the game, and they want to see what that looks like before they decide what they're doing, I guess. I'm gonna make a mistake though. Are you guys ready for this? We're gonna go full 180 recline again. One sec. Oh, DX racers are great for this. Got my covers. Just turn the mic around so it's. There we go, and then swap into the in-game screen if I can. And there we go. All right. Hey, Wired One. Thank you for the 21-month resub. I got the hardest job in the world. That job is staying awake. Yeah, I don't know how many people have read into this. The whole theory that like every time you go to sleep, you're really dying. How scary is that, right? Ugh. I don't want to die and I don't want to fall asleep. I'm so comfy. This was a mistake. This was a huge... Oh, MaNa's here! Oh, now I gotta get up. Son of a bitch. I'm working on it, guys. Give me a minute. Rub my eyes, get that stretch on. Okay. Let's turn this around. Sit right up, because we actually have a pretty good game. on our hands here. MaNa versus the Muslim, or nope, excuse me, MaNa versus DIMAGA. Too many D sounding names there. That detail stream too. Dank memes, I think is what the D in DIMAGA stands for. Okay, spawning here in the bottom left side of New Gettysburg. He is going to be the blue Zerg player. Oop, production tab, there we go, DIMAGA. And in the bottom right, we got the red Protoss, Team Liquid's MaNa. And I believe we should have the graphs mod back now. Yeah, that's kind of cool. So I'm already noticing an immediate bug with this, by the way. You guys will see no hiccups here, and only those are the keen I have noticed. The first time I enable one of these graphs in any given game, everything pauses for like a fraction of a second. It shouldn't do that, and that's got me concerned. But I'm not going to go for a scout here at probe and see what's going on. DIMAGA kind of predicting some harassment in the natural. Just go straight to the third. I mean, this is such a common thing to do nowadays. The Goblin Thief says, oh shit, that almost convinced me to buy this overpriced chair. Okay, let me explain something to you, the Goblin Thief, okay? And this isn't me trying to sell you on the chair. This, I couldn't give two fucks whether you own this comfortable chair or not. But I'll tell you this much. A year ago, when I went to Home Story Cup, I was pushing 340 something pounds, okay? I'm like down to like 260 now, and that's whatever. That's not supposed to be self-brag. My context here is that this fucking chair has lasted me through all of that. Like, this chair has been through so much, and the full 180 recline has kept my weight while lying. I've slept in this chair, okay? So my point is, if the 180 recline is gonna sell you on a chair, understand that it's durable and it's gonna last you. And if that doesn't sell you on the chair, I don't know what will. Because while the chair might be overpriced in your opinion, I don't think it is. But if a $400 chair is not in your budget, you gotta understand that this chair is gonna last a long time. And this is a chair that I sit on every single day. Like, I don't have a life. I don't spend Fridays going out drinking with buddies. I spend Friday nights playing World of frickin' Warcraft or frickin' co-op on StarCraft, sitting my ass in this very chair for like 2 years now. So that's all I really got to say about it. But anyways, so PvZ gonna look a little bit different. Of course, we're coming off the back end of that PvP from Group C. This is a full brand new group. This is Group E we're now into. This is a preliminary match. The other side of this is the Muslim and DNS, which we'll be casting afterwards. And I mean, so far everything is a little bit behind schedule, not by massive amounts. They did say they'd start casting winners and losers matches simultaneously if the schedule fell too far behind. I don't think we're there just yet, but we'll find out. We'll find out. I will ask after this game, because this group is really far behind. Actually, I think they're an entire best of 3 behind. Anyways, that just becomes Star Wars. That was a mistake. That was a cool happy accident. Resonating Glaives coming out of MaNa. I guess, actually, thinking back on MaNa, we've seen a lot more of his PvT than we have his PvZ in games we've been casting, and despite the fact that the Corsair Cup usually has MaNa pit up against Guru or Laser in the semifinals, it has been a lot of versus Terran that we've seen him facing off against for these sort of tournaments. So I don't actually have a good assessment for you guys on how he'll do versus DIMAGA. I will say DIMAGA, bit of an older school player, sure, has struggled, we'll say. So I think I also tip this a little bit in MaNa's favor. This Ling attack certainly isn't going to accomplish too much, unfortunately. And hell, even if this was Bane Lings, it wouldn't be much better either. But just hoping to catch MaNa off guard, or maybe catch a probe trying to go to a third. Neither of which are really an option here, as the Adepts are protecting it pretty nicely. Although, he's going to have to juke and jive a little bit. If he wasn't mineral walking, he may have died just there. That's kind of cute to see. Piling comes down as well. It's going to be an overcharge, so the Adepts don't have to set up here all day. And the wall was filled in by a stalker, so there wouldn't have been a chance at another run by. Someone in chat saying they got a $10 folding chair they've been using for the past 5 years. Feels bad, man. That might be cost effective, but there's no way that's comfy. Actually, so before I got my first DX Racer 5 years ago, because I originally bought from DX Racer before Chairs for Gaming was existing, I was using a lawn chair, actually. And it was like a plastic lawn chair. It was super legit and it was super comfy, but it would break like once every 2 months because it's a fucking plastic lawn chair and it's not meant to be used all day. Oh! Oh, do you guys know why these roaches look so freaking cool? It's because DIMAGA is using a skin. I forgot patch 3.7 along with some of the other stuff it brought with it were some enhanced versions of units, and you could pay like I think $5 or something to unlock voice packs, but like $5 for some of these skins. And the roaches, they're certainly a lot more pointy, and I think it's called like this is like a, oh, I want to say a chrome skin or something like that. I don't know. It looks really cool though. DIMAGA, I'm gonna enjoy watching your roaches today, man, because you're the first player, professional play, that we're seeing use any cool skins. I wonder actually how tunneling claws works with these. Is this still gonna be really obvious? This is actually not like terms of balance for skin, but like when DIMAGA has tunneling claws up, is that going to be something MaNa can glance at and realize that, hey, there's spikes on their backs? Because it already kind of looks like there's spikes all over them, you know what I'm saying? It's chromium roach, whatever it's called. 2 DTs warped in over here, should be able to deal with any roaches coming in though. They don't have an overseer partner with them. And I believe MaNa, yeah, he's going to have a lot of roaches to deal with, so we'll take some time. I don't know why there's like a meme in chat about the chair making me lose weight, guys. My context for that story was strictly that I was a heavy dude. I still am a heavy dude, and the chair has not, it's not buckled under pressure just yet. Maybe another year or two, but not quite just yet. Not quite just yet. More Phoenix coming where that came from, and for MaNa, that number is not exactly exceedingly high yet, but it is high enough that taking on Hydras actually wouldn't be too problematic just yet. In fact, they're going to die pretty quickly if they get picked off 1 or 2 at a time. MaNa looking for worker kills though, not Hydra kills. Also policing the Overseers and the Overlords, just trying to strip away some of that map vision from DIMAGA, so he does have to play a little bit more blind. I wonder if any of the players are using voice packs. I didn't think to ask, but I wonder if anyone's turned those on. Because I will say this, I bought the Rory Swan voice pack. It's the only voice pack I've bought so far. Because I really like Swan. Swan's like one of my favorite co-op mission heroes. So I was excited to try him out, but a lot of his voice lines are really lackluster, and some of them are not too concisely obvious what they're talking about. Like the default adjutant's pretty simple. Additional supply required. Or like, you know, just like it's you know what you're listening for. Maybe after just 5 years of playing StarCraft, it just becomes second nature, but I don't actually know what I'm listening to for a lot of Swan's commands. Some of them are pretty obvious, and it's like, job's done, buddy! And it's like, okay, cool, that means research complete. But not all of them are that obvious. Not making those into Archons, by the way. I was really expecting to see more Archons out of MaNa. Oh, the Phoenix AFK in the middle of the map. Classic catch as the Hydras just kind of stutter underneath them. 3-ish. Was it 2 or 3 went down? 3 went down. Feels bad, man. As he'd love to have all these picking them up. But there's those Archons I was hoping for. See him come into play. Lots of Lings coming to flood in behind us. And DIMAGA sitting with a really harsh fight around this third. Honestly, this is do or die time for MaNa. He's down a significant amount of supply, but every time we see MaNa play, whether it's versus Nurchio or Snoot or any other good Zerg player out there, he takes good fights when he's down in supply. Something about being, like, the underdog powers up MaNa pretty hardcore. I do wish he'd bring those Phoenixes over, though. Use them a little bit. Apparently, by the way, thank you to SG2 Brandon chat, one of the more recent subs on the channel. He says that the skins only cost $2.99, and apparently Burrow looks really cool with them too. That's awesome. MaNa, unfortunately, just going to lose this third. I mean, giving it away instead of the probes, probably the better choice. Harder decision to make, but he does kite down some of the units on the backside of this, and that army out of DIMAGA, it's not all here. A lot of that's actually just popping out in like the 20 Hydras that got produced. I actually think MaNa could take this fight if he wanted to dedicate to it, but it would cost him. Meanwhile, these Phoenix in the middle of the map should be grabbing these Hydras that are coming out 1 or 2 at a time. These are freebies. That rally should be a joke, but again, I love MaNa. I respect MaNa, but something about his Phoenix control has been a little bit off this game. That's a bit sad. Now Snab782 hits us up with an 18-month resub. Not enough numbers and all of that. Thank you so much. super appreciated, man. As I said, though, MaNa can certainly scrap in tough and dire situations, but I don't know if he can overcome this sort of supply deficit without a third. If he had a third behind this, that might be different, but as we can see, that's not quite the case. Crucifix's going to land on top of the sentries. Oh, it feels bad, man. Guardian Shield's going to try to do what it can to reduce some of the damage. There's a lot of Immortals, and they can soak some hits, but there's also a lot of Hydras out of DIMAGA, and I'm pretty sure DIMAGA is just waltzing through this. I wouldn't have seen this coming, to be honest with you. I really thought this would be MaNa 2-0, but DIMAGA putting up a very strong, very, very good game number 1. Although, as I say that, he takes about 15 supply worth of Hydras in losses as the Disruptor hits. A little bit scary there. But DIMAGA's on 4 bases to MaNa's 2. I don't think we're in... With Disruptors being a main component of the army, yeah, these Hydras are eventually going to get blown away, but those Disruptors are not exactly going to make for a quick counterattack either. Last couple Hydras go down, so they slip into the logo as I was scratching my head, but... Yeah, that's going to be it for the attacks out of DIMAGA. Both players evening up now, kind of deflecting to end up being 40 supply to 40 supply in army, but now, of course, DIMAGA taking a little bit more. MaNa not having that third, I think, is actually kind of devastating. His income is really hurting for it. In fact, if I look at the income graph, it should be all blue. It is, for the most part, all blue. And you can see where that army started trading out to. Tell you what, guys, every time I solo cast, I always forget that you need a lot more water to solo cast. Now, this is a bug, by the way. I don't mean a literal bug because it's a changeling, but as you can see, once it changeling morphs into something else, it doesn't have a timer. Also, weirdly enough, it's changeling morphing for the observer. That shouldn't happen. This should still indicate that this is one of MaNa's units and not DIMAGA's, but color, indication, everything looks like that's MaNa's unit, not DIMAGA's. That's really weird. Okay, well, see if either player gets to use that or not. It's a small bug, not a big one. Big surround comes in from multiple sides. MaNa long distance mining through this heck and chaos. Not gonna matter though, as looks like he's still on the outs. And DIMAGA now with 80 supply over 20 as far as army concerned. GG's get called, and DIMAGA takes game number 1. I'm curious, what are the bets for this actually? Almost dead even. No one awarded them out from the last series. Are you serious? Mods, hello, mods, wake up! BaseTradeTV mods, anyone here? Time to riot, guys. No mods. Post a bunch of port in chat. Don't do that. Well, looks like we're into the commercial early. One sec, guys. Ooh, let's gotta rewind this before we get out of this scene. Okay, we're back. Game number 2. And he actually leads the series 1-0. I'm a little bit shocked by this. In the top left side of the map, it's going to be the blue Zerg player DIMAGA. Now, I do want to go into this a little bit more because I don't want the sound BM, but TLDR is that was a great win for DIMAGA, and he certainly needed it. Bottom right, going to be the red Protoss, MaNa. And he's going for some cheesy cheese, and this is part of that follow-up. So a lot of Zerg players have been doing this on Frozen Temple. This really started off, we only saw Bly doing it, but I think it was when we saw Bly beat Neeb that other people started considering this. And of course, Bly being teammates with Scarlet convinced her to start doing it as well. So we just started seeing this spread since then. And for DIMAGA, I think a part of this is really trying to convince your opponent that you're not doing it. So you got to make this drone really look like it wants to take the natural. You got to fight that probe and say get away. Fake going to the middle, trying to build. MaNa, of course, I think that's kind of cool by not trying to engage. He may have fully realized what's going on now because DIMAGA should have placed a hatchery down. The fact that DIMAGA didn't put a hatchery down either means A, MaNa thinks he's an idiot, which I don't think is the case, or B, the more likely, it's a proxy. So for MaNa, it will tell whether he knows what's going on, whether he builds a Zealot. If he doesn't build a Zealot, then he's clueless. If he does build a Zealot, then he'll know what's up. He actually cancels the Nexus. There's that scout. Zealot comes out, and now this should be totally doable. Now, there's been a couple of cool new ways that people have been dealing with this, and one of the ones I've been liking to see is when they put a pylon down right here. So this isn't exactly what I was going to go into, but overcharge is one thing, but you put a zealot in here to limit surface area, so if lings come out, they can't surround you as easily. Your zealot gets a little bit more life out of it. And of course, again, going back to that overcharge for a sec. But DIMAGA pulls 4 drones instead of 3. This is actually kind of a big deal because he's taking gas mine still to get those zerglings out. And he needs to get those spine cars going ASAP. The problem is the zealot's going to be chasing around. He's going to have to be doing some build cancels. This is going to take a lot of control out of him. Yeah, what's up, Doc? 2 for the 8-month resub, by the way. Thank you so much for that. It's just call me Octoboy, because we be 8 months into this beard. Thank you very much, Octoboy, for the 8-month resub. Now, DIMAGA doesn't start up a 4th spine crawler, although it looks like he wants to. I'm really curious about this, because I thought this was going to be just a backup thing at best. But no, there we go. Actually goes for the 4th spine crawler. Alright, Queen pops out and she immediately shoots the Mothership Core. Bit of kiting necessary as this gets awkward, but the Queen needs to back away because she has to live long enough to put down a creep tumor. Especially with the hatchery having just died. Now needs to protect that creep tumor, and that's going to be really tough. Yeah, with that creep tumor going down, this might be the end of the push, funny enough. The spines have nowhere to root themselves, and DIMAGA's got to wait 5 seconds before you can put a new creep tumor down. I mean, once the tumor's down, it's not an issue as long as it lives, but he's got to get that creep tumor down in the first place. DIMAGA! Okay, there we go. A little bit of poop on the ground. Not a big deal. 4 spine cars have certainly got some damage, but as they sit in the ground off of creep, they will slowly start to bleed out. Which, by the way, you've got me as to why they can uproot and walk around perfectly fine, but if there's no creep in the ground, it's like, I can't breathe. Zerg, am I right? Goat boy losing some sound. That's weird. Maybe it's because he's mad that I didn't shout out his resub and he thinks he didn't hear it. My bad. Hey, Goat boy, 1975. Thank you for resubbing for 30 months. I'm sure you weren't being passive aggressive. I'm just having some fun. I'm a wee bit tired. Now, as he chips away at the wall, the problem is MaNa's actually had plenty of time to get that Immortal out. He's also got these overcharges running. DIMAGA does take a natural base, but it's really, really late. In fact, with 2 spines already having gone down, this might already be game over for DIMAGA. Again, like, trying to kill the Cybercore is one thing. MaNa just rebuilds this elsewhere, but the Immortal count can tear through those spines pretty easily, and as we just witnessed, the Lings can't really get on top of it. It can't really... There's no surround potential here. I would actually love to see MaNa poke up. There we go. As the spine cars are uprooted, they take a long time to burrow again. For whatever reason, they changed it, though, so spore crawlers can burrow a lot quicker, but that's whatever. Too greedy to change their burrowing technology with their spine crawler brothers. Feels bad, man. He does push out boldly to pick this off. That exposes the sentries a little bit, but as we can see, it's still just dandy. DIMAGA's left on this side of the map with a little bit of creep spread and less than 16 workers. He's on 15 back at home. MaNa, in the meantime, pushing up to 30. I mean, there's not a good game here for DIMAGA. In fact, look at that income win. It's currently in MaNa's side. I mean, it's good for MaNa. You know, he's down 1 in the series. Obviously wants to bring this up, ties it up 1-1, takes it to a game 3, all that goodness. But he can't really push right now, and it's a bit frustrating to watch. I actually think the Warp Prism will give him enough power to get over there, but he doesn't really know what's waiting for him. DIMAGA might have just stuck to 1 base and continued to all in, for all he's aware. All he knows is that there's no 3rd base taking because of scouting over here at the probe. Now, this being said, I actually feel like 2 Immortals alone would be more than enough damage to actually get kills on DIMAGA, but this was a little bit hectic. Overcharge gets popped, Lings get a nice cancel on the building. Pushing on in here, if MaNa were to sneak up on the high ground, he could have force filled that off, and he goes for the Queen instead, catches it. A couple of Lings gonna spawn around this, but really it's not many. The Warp Pins out of MaNa are not too bountiful either, but he's got the Warp Up, or the Warp Prism Pickup Micro to always fall back on, as I tongue twist myself trying to say that. Not really any workers dying. Still training out mostly army for army, but DIMAGA already setting himself so far behind in resources lost due to his initial fight plans here. Picks up the flyaway again. Meanwhile, DIMAGA still has 2 creep tumors, one of which is active. I would love to see him start spreading some of that creep back towards his base, but understandably so, he's busy with the Immortals dancing around, trying to make sure that those go down. And of course, the Immortals themselves are trying to pick off the Queens, because they want to be able to have a little bit more freedom to roam around with that Warp Prism. Twilight Council starts up behind this. I'm going to have to guess it's Resonating Glaze, but because this game's a little bit more brute force, we might just see Stalkers. It really depends on what MaNa's thinking right now as far as what he wants to do. Stalkers are more mobility than Adepts, maybe, in close quarter combat, but they're also a lot less damage when it comes to trying to shred, for example, a mineral line to bits. Warp Prism can't catch a break. Bling's always on top of this. I mean, I feel like having 1 Adept on the low ground could help out a ton, but that's another case of another time. Now, the Immortals have had their shields disabled off of autocast, which is kind of interesting to see. So MaNa really dedicating to the control of all these units and, of course, taking charge for the Immortals, because if they die without using their shield, then that's kind of a huge waste. Meanwhile, his 3rd base might be under attack here in a moment. Some Lings do poise down to there to the south. Several more chasing after the Warp Prism to make sure it can't sneak away and unload somewhere. I think between the Sentries, the Force Field on top of the Immortal, and an Overcharge or 2, he should be good to hold on to that 3rd for quite some time. This Warp Prism isn't necessarily accomplishing a lot. Like, it's no one really big kill, but these Immortals aren't 20 kills each, 17 on the other. It's actually done quite a bit, and the more Lings DIMAGA has to make, the less drones he's going to have. This kind of goes back to the whole, like, DIMAGA being on 30 drones, started off behind, getting towards that 3rd. His opening kind of screwed him out of this game, and I mean, this is where you would hope you're double. You hope you're sitting on 70-something drones right now. You're not hoping to be sitting on 45 barely. That being said, a lot of this made possible because MaNa did a lot of things right. Canceled that Nexus, had those Zealots out early, and frankly dealt with a proxy in a really amazingly calm and collected way. Excuse me. In the meantime, if you guys are looking for something to do while we wait for the action to pick up, make sure to type !TakeTV in chat. 2 donation links can be found there. One goes right to the TakeTV donations. The other goes to the TakeTV subscriptions. And either way, half of the proceeds from today are going to go to the prize pool for the players. The day started off at 500, and I believe it's up to 750 now, thanks to contributions from those of many of you who have diligently been watching both streams. But GG's get called. MaNa will take the game and tie things up now 1-1. Oh, Twitch chat. That suggestion to have a shower to wake up is one hell of an appealing one that I might just take you up on. But I need some break time before doing that. We had a lot of downtime getting into things, but it's been pretty quick since then, so I haven't really had a chance to slip away and do anything just yet. More on that afterwards. This is the preliminary match of the group, DIMAGA versus MaNa. The winner of this will go on to the winner's match. The loser will fall to the loser's match. It is a WCS style group, and hopefully you guys know what that means. Basically, 4-player double elimination. Spawning here in the top right is going to be the blue Protoss, Team Liquid's MaNa. Meanwhile, on the bottom left, we got the red Zerg player, DIMAGA. Uh-oh, did this just become an ASMR cast? No, I'm not even going to try and do that right now. Yeah, MaNa just scouting early. It's really important that he does this too after just after getting proxied the way he did. And again, like for MaNa, it was a good read seeing DIMAGA's sort of fake drone and pulling off of aggression, let him disengage and see what was going on. I am wondering though, a couple of small things here. So number one, pro players are not the first to really discover things, I guess we'll say. Like, when there's new stuff put in the game, they stick with the old. My example of this is when Legacy of the Void beta hits. A lot of people are still trying to make old builds work against brand new units. You can't push into lurkers with roaches. You're just going to have a bad time. You can't really do a lot of stuff like that. So they might not be aware that the spray tool is in the game. The spray command is one that, just like this little logo outside MaNa's base, for example, the little Protoss circle, if you were to spray the ground, it would... Again, it's like a little bit of like cheekiness, a little bit of BM, friendly BM, I guess. You just put the spray down and you put it in the mineral line as you scout. It's got like a 2.5 minute, 3 minute cooldown or something on it too. But you can hold like a bunch of charges and your workers all share the same cooldown. Hey, Polite Elliot! Not Rude Elliot, but Polite Elliot. Thank you very much for that sub hype, man. Super big love for that. Again, I just want to make sure everyone is fully aware the distinction between the two, because I don't want anyone to feel cheated today. If you subscribe here on BaseTradeTV, you get a lot of cool benefits. You're an awesome human being, and frankly, you give me a reason to live. However, none of the subscriptions or donations on BaseTradeTV will be directly contributing to the prize pool. This is TakeTV and TakeTV's event, and if you would like to contribute to the prize pool, donations and subscriptions, I believe 50% of each will go towards the prize pool. If someone is multi-boxing or multi-twitching, or you're simply just bouncing back between the streams and I've caught you at a good time, if you just give me an update on what the prize pool's at, I'd love to share that with everyone else. But last time we checked, it started at $500 today and was at about $750, I want to say an hour and a half ago last time we checked in. Rifkin's pretty tired after staying up for the all-night Nintendo reveal. Oh man, I'm super excited for the Nintendo stuff, guys. You had no idea. The spray can, people asking how to do it. I think the default hotkey is Y, but you can literally just click it. Like I was playing around with that the other day in 2v2s. But no, as much as Nintendo's really cool, and I think this new thing that's got coming out is going to be really neat, it's just the fact that I had to wake up at 2 a.m. to be here on time for 3 a.m. to wait till 2:45 or 3:45 a.m. for games to start. I'm just tuckered out, guys, because nobody likes waking up that early. Polite Ellie says, thanks for supporting the game. Hey, man, thanks for helping us support the game. It is strictly subscriber money that lets us make a lot of the cool stuff we do. It'd be really nice. Like, I gotta tell you guys, if I won the lottery tomorrow, I'd probably do a lot of rich guy things. Eat caviar, get a limo, all that good stuff. But I would definitely still keep putting money into StarCraft 2. And unfortunately, because I'm not a rich guy, subscriptions are the only way we can do that here. And things like the temporary team league or the random vs. random tournament, all these other things are made possible thanks to subscribers such as yourselves. Thank you to Galtzland for the Twitch Prime sub. Speaking of that spiel, I should correct myself there. Actually, the random vs. random event we have going it's actually made possible thanks to CK Walsh, who is a subscriber, but very specifically all because of that one subscriber. All right, thank you, Harry Mole 5. This is the updated prize pool is up to $867. That's pretty cool. I'm hoping that they'll keep the crowdfunding element of the 50% thing going on tomorrow as well, because I think during the round of 16, a lot of people are going to see which players they want, and as their favorite player makes it to the semifinals, they're going to be a lot more inclined to donate and help increase that prize pool. At least that's what we've seen a lot through Match Arena in the past for our events. DIMAGA once again with those really cool roaches. Really slick looking roaches, to be honest. I like it. I like it a lot. I think roaches are actually classically very boring units to look at, but the spikiness and the cool little, how do we call it, sheen, I guess, on the claws looks really awesome. Although this is where we need to start going like full, I'm gonna say League of Legends, but I'm actually gonna refer Heroes of the Storm. Like League of Legends is that one hero, Kha'Zix, and Mecha Kha'Zix is like the coolest fucking thing, right? But Heroes of the Storm has these like sort of cyborg roaches slash broodlord slash ultralisks like on their newest map they came out with. So those would be certainly cool skins to have, and clearly the skins exist as they're in Heroes of the Storm. I got no idea if that's coming or not. And I've been to the Secret Blizzard Summit and we've heard nothing about that, sadly, so I don't know. Zombiegrub did not fall out of her chair. Thank you for asking. Zombiegrub is at a prior commitment. She was here for the first, like, 90% of Group 1. And she had to leave. She left me to my own devices, which was a mistake because I am slowly becoming more delirious. It weighs out pretty evenly with the exhaustion. Lots of roaches coming up next out of DIMAGA. See how many of these get turned into Ravagers. I do want to point out that it's a Hydra Den follow-up, interestingly enough, not an infestation pit. I think fungal growth can go a long way no matter what the matchup is, but Hydras, I think, are the thought for the anti-air required to shut down these Phoenix. Cocaine, that's what I need. Anyone got some cocaine? I heard that's a good pick-me-upper. Actually, while I haven't done a lot of drugs in my life, I know I'm pretty lame. I will say most drugs that have like that really chemical taste are nasty. I'm wondering if that's why people snort cocaine, because it tastes so bad you wouldn't want to put it in your mouth. I'm sure there's actual reasons for it. I'm just being silly. No burrow this time around, by the way. DIMAGA might be thinking about tunneling claws. He might be thinking about burrow a little bit later down the line. For now, he's certainly thinking on those Hydras as means of anti-air. Now, what kind of sucks is as Zerg, you're constantly rallying all your units out of your hatchery, and those Hydras will likely a couple get picked off in between transfers here. You get built at the main, you run to the third, or vice versa. As long as the Phoenix are active, it's going to be hard for DIMAGA to get kills, but reminding everybody last game, MaNa was very active and then went AFK for just like 1 second as he looked elsewhere and lost some Phoenix for it. Being fast as these guys are, especially, you know, when they're on creep, that native bonus Zerg have, of course, it's going to be even better with a patch coming up, but they should be able to get underneath these Phoenix should they be idling too long or in the wrong spot. Yeah, Phoenix skin's really annoying. People in chat asking about the Roach skin. Ooh, nice cool skin. Yeah, I guess some of the skins you can unlock for, someone was saying earlier, $2.99. I want to say something here about this. I can't say much because I'm actually under NDA. But I will simply say that for those of you that think maybe the prices for all the new things are too much, or you simply just don't want to pay it, sit tight. There's some really cool solutions coming up out of Blizzard. Anyways, Hydras settling forward to that front line. There's a lot of them. There's a heck of a lot of them, actually. And if these Hydralists can get on top of the army, they're going to bring the damage, but they need to be behind the Roaches. And if the Hydras go in first, they're going to get killed, frankly. I don't like the way DIMAGA's got this set up. He should really shuffle some of those Roaches front line. Meanwhile, Phoenix is just kind of chilling on the other side of the map. I'm not sure if these are going to be for cutting off reinforcements. Hopefully that'll be the case. Picks up a Queen, gets a couple of drone kills, but really, picking off 1 or 2 Hydras when your opponent's army supply is this big, probably a good idea. I call it Flowcane because my wraps become so tight when I blow. Oh, for sure. Don't I know? Ain't that kind of low. Cocaine gives you a high, not a low. Bro. Oh. I'm done with that. That rhyming game. The Lurker Den revealed by these Phoenix 2, by the way. Not a huge reveal just yet, but if Lurkers start coming out, this is where MaNa's going to have to start picking and choosing the unit type a lot more delicately. On one hand, we've actually seen a lot of Immortals work. Double Robo, lots of Immortals. You get like 8 to 10 of them. Who cares about Lurkers? You just walk through them. However, this is where you also start maybe putting an asterisk and considering Disruptors. Although some people have really expressed their dislike for Disruptors because while they are incredibly powerful, they do take a lot more dedication, skill, and frankly just attention span to use. Big attack coming through the north side as DIMAGA he was actually completely distracted. He was all his army down here to the south, Hydralists included, trying to pick off those Phoenix. So as he darts back to the front line, he's already lost a lot of Lings. DIMAGA down about 20 supply. Force Field's going to hold those Roaches in place. We got some Disruptors coming in, looking for hits on the Hydras. The Immortals take care of the Roaches, no problemo. That bonus damage versus Armored is insane. And MaNa still has Barrier available for some of these Immortals, so backs away slowly from the Hydras. That Disruptor comes out. It's not quite got a shot to go just yet. 3 seconds left. But I think MaNa's already cleaned this up. Let's not forget, while this goes on, he's still got a lot of Phoenix down here to the south. those could easily come in and start playing another role in the game. But 27 mutas hold the phone. DIMAGA is making one very last, very desperate plea. And 27 mutas absolutely can clean up what's available on the map right now. I'm not sure what they can do for after, though. Phoenixes are one thing, but another is the fact that +3 is halfway finished. And again, Stalkers with +3 can go a long way versus mutas. It's just free pickings for them on anything they see as they go down the middle of the map. That fleet beacon's coming down not for Tempest, but for Anian Pulse Crystals, the range upgrade for the Phoenix. They don't technically need it, but it's a lot easier to control and dance around the mutas when you've got it, however. As we can see, bleeding out a couple right away, not a great start. As DIMAGA does have a pretty brute force amount of 24 mutas to the 8 Phoenix. And really, these are the only anti-air. There's not that many Stalkers that have really been warped in. There's still units on the ground to worry about. The Archon gets a pretty nice hit and some splash damage. DIMAGA going to keep disengaging from this. I guess a little bit scared to take a fight above the Archons, and I don't blame him, because if those Archons do get a couple of hits off, everything starts dying. MaNa contemplating going into Graviton beam up the Hydras, but I think he's also aware that if he does, then the mutas come in and swoop him out. Same thing if he tries to fly over top of the Hydras to get to the mutas. The Hydras will pick them off, so it's a bit of a tough situation for these Phoenix. Not able to use them to their fullest potential just yet, but with Anian Pulse Crystals coming out in about 20 seconds, these Phoenix are about to become insanely good versus mutas. Like, unfairly insanely good versus mutas. Yeah, there are some people who have been really against the idea of microtransactions, by the way, as I see more responses to this in chat and free to play and all this stuff. Like, I don't know. I really like the way StarCraft's going. I want to be able to pay for skins. I want to feel more involved with my game and my units. But that's just me. 16 mutas left, but it's not going to be like that for long. The Overseer is actually taking the hits from the Phoenix. Anian Pulse Crystals is almost completed. Of course, that's going to give Phoenix an insane 7 range. I think it's like, what, 4 for mutas? 3 even. Yeah, these have double the range. There's really no reason that the mutas should ever really get hits on the Phoenix unless it's complacency or latency. Complacency, I guess you could say. But GG's get called. MaNa takes the series 2-1, and that's going to send him up to the winner's match, where he will wait for the winner of DNS and the Muslim, which I believe we're casting next. So I'm going to quickly just play the commercials, get them out of the way, and hopefully be here with a new series soon.